Hi guys, are you guys ready for the final hustings of leadership race UBU Elections 16-17? Oh, yeah. We need a bit more of a cheer than that actually. Doesn't work, yeah. Anyway, we are gonna start the UBU Elections hustings day 3 in 10 seconds. Not really. We are gonna start now. So we've got Community and Welfare Officer today, Students with Dependents Officer, PGR Officer, International Students Officer, NUS Delegates, and Academic Affairs Officers. So we will be starting with the Community and Welfare Officer shortly.
Okay, welcome to the first night of hustings. So tonight we've got 6 roles coming up: Community and Welfare Officer, Students with Dependents Officer, PGR Officer, International Students Officer, NUS Delegate and Academic Affairs. If you would like to give any questions in for any of these roles, you can do so by going to see the Elections Committee, which Hasmin and Dan over there, who will bring a radio mic round for you. You can also write them down on the sheets there. You can also send in your questions via Twitter and engage in the debate as well by using the hashtag UBU Elections. A few house rules as well. Obviously, people are getting up on the stage to promote themselves as candidates. Please give them their respect and keep the noise down while they're speaking. We like applause, but we don't like random chatter. You can save that for later. But please engage on Twitter as well. If anyone does have any problems, please come and see the Elections Committee. We will be taking a break at some point during the evening, depending on how things are going. But please get your questions in, and good luck to all the candidates. And I'll pass you back now to Hasmin, who will be able to help. Don't forget, you can also listen at home, on YouTube, on Ramair, and even on Periscope.
Thank you very much, Phil. Well, without any more delays, let's get to business. Shall we? Shall we? Okay. So, let's start the day off with our wonderful community and welfare officers who are going to be elected next year to be an officer. So, okay. Let's get our community and welfare officers on the stage. Mohammed Bashir Luna and Sabira Ismail. Before you guys start your starting speech, I'll do a couple of announcements. Just like yesterday, let's have a bit of respect, not a bit, a lot of respect on the candidates who are going to represent your views across the campus with the senior managers and the staff. And also keep your noise level down, because we shouldn't be telling you this time and time again. And also, if you've got drinks, coffee cups, maybe food items, don't leave it on the floor. Please take it behind. There's bins behind you. Just leave it there, because at the end of the day, we've got a lot of dirt around this area, so it's not nice. So, moving on to our community and welfare officers, I'll let Phil introduce and start off with the candidates.
Okay, we have 2 candidates for Community and Welfare Officer. They are Mohammed Bashir Lunat and Sabira Ismail. Each candidate will have a 2-minute opening speech. There will be then a chance to give you questions to all candidates. You cannot aim questions at individuals. They must be for all candidates. We will be limiting answers as well to 30 seconds each. There will be then a 1-minute summation speech for the candidates. So we'll start with the opening speech now for Mohammed Bashir Lunat. If you would like to start first, and your 2-minute opening speech for the role of Community and Welfare Officer starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for turning up. I'm going to keep my speech very short. But in essence, what are we facing as a student body? We're facing an assault on student rights. We see cuts to disabled students' allowance. We see mental health being failed consistently. And we see the university not taking students' welfare seriously. We're paying £9,000 a year to be treated like customers, instead of actually being treated like human beings and students. I'm here to fight for your rights, and I urge you all, read my manifesto, believe in me, and vote for me. Thank you very much.
That was the opening speech there for candidate Mohammed Bashir Lunat, standing for Community and Welfare Officer. Also standing is candidate Sabira Ismail, and your 2-minute opening speech starts now.
Hi, so for this year I focused on 4 points. It's been The first one is making sure that my role is actually relevant, because for the past few years, welfare has not been, community and welfare has not been on the agenda. I've done this from the university, the union, and also societies as well, and sports and media areas. So one of the things I've been doing is obviously working with the community. So making sure that the skills that we have in the union is transparent and also put into the community as well. I've done this through every single week. We have students going and feeding the homeless, Bradford students feeding the homeless. We have students going down to help asylum seekers and refugees learn English, and this is stuff that our students are doing. And students that don't actually want to do the same old kind of volunteering, they can actually have weekly volunteering opportunities that happen every week that can go on their CV. Also welfare, for instance, most of you guys were at the Hustings these couple of days, and welfare has been on the agenda. That has never happened before, because my manifesto last year was to bring welfare back on the agenda. And you can see everyone has talked about mental health, they've been talking about welfare, and that's because I've brought it forward. I've done this through making sure that mental health isn't a one case fits all, because mental health for other students is not the same as everyone else's. So I've done this through doing alternative therapy, such as art therapy, such as mindfulness, and also student support groups. That's the things that I've brought forward this year. Also, stuff like RAG. So for instance, obviously we brought the guide dogs to the union, which was a massive success. We're planning on doing that again. The other things that, okay, yeah, that's it, thank you.
That was the opening speech there for candidate Sabira Ismail. So you've heard the opening speeches there for both candidates for Community and Welfare Officer. We'll now be opening up to the floor for questions. You can also send your questions via Twitter using the hashtag UBU Elections. Dan will now be coming round with his microphone, ready to grab those questions for you.
Just a quick announcement before we move on to the first question from the floor. Can we have a bit of silence around this area, please? We have to give our respect to these candidates who are going to represent our views in the campus. So please respect the candidates, and we need more silence in this area. Thank you. Moving on.
Okay, so my first question is, what are the plans that you have in order to improve student safety on campus as well as around the community? Because I think that has been a main point, that students do feel unsafe in the community and in the environment. So what plans do you have?
Okay.
Sabira, you'll be taking the question, but you've got 30 seconds to answer.
Okay, with the safety of the on campus, what we're doing is working with the security to ensure that we have 24-hour, we'll have clock services. The next thing with the community, obviously, is the thing that the free city bus is no longer working. So I'm working with the Safe Spot advisor as well as the campaigns officer person to try and bring back, making sure that the UBU bus is actually relevant and not just going into places just around the union, but actually making the radius a lot bigger, so that students, when they leave the campus, are actually safe, so they can go on the UBU bus.
That's time. Luna? Okay. Use the other mic, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we have incredible schemes already. We have the Safe Spot scheme, we have the UBU bus, we have the union, which will become a hate crime reporting centre. We have some incredible work going on, but we've got a lot further to go. So security at the moment is being down-regulated. They're not being funded enough. So when we talk about campus, we've got 3 security guards across campus. If there was an incident, there wouldn't be enough security in order to help the students and make sure that there's a safe environment around campus. In addition, we've got to work with local partners and make sure that around the university people feel safe. There's many different incidents of harassment. It's not me, it's the mic. There's incidents of harassment, there's incidents of students being actually intimidated by other people, and we've got to make sure the environment is not just good for learning, but it's also good for people.
That's time. Sorry, there is a bit of a technicality issue. Bear with us, we'll be back. Do we have any other questions from the floor? I've got one question, a pre-written one, to the candidates. What are your plans to promote sexual well-being? Can we start you off with Bash?
So sexual well-being is very important, especially at an age where students are obviously becoming more aware of themselves. So it's important that students are aware of different diseases which might be caught. We obviously have to have provisions also in case of any problems. So can we provide free condoms? Can we give any checkups? Can we give any information? And we can be consistent about this. Not only should we have it from the first day, but throughout the year, whether it's at F&D nights, whether it's in the union, students should always have a point of contact also if they don't have any idea of what they need to do. And it's important that every student knows no matter who they are. Thank you.
Sabira.
Okay, so this year we've actually been able to provide condoms on campus as well as free chlamydia testing because we have HIV testing every single Wednesday. So these are the things that we've been able to implement this year to ensure that all students are aware of their sexual health and actually are safe. We also had Swag Week this year, which hopefully next year I want to promote during, as Bash said, during freshers, during refreshers, and also at the end of the year and the big times, so that students are aware of sexual health, all the areas around the community that provide sexual health testing, that provide condoms.
That's time, Sabira.
Okay.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the floor? Moving on to the next pre-written question. Bradford University is very diverse. What are you going to do to ensure inclusion of all students? Is that clear? Should I repeat it again?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Bradford University is very diverse. What are you going to do to ensure inclusion of all students?
Who starts? Should I? Me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, obviously working with the liberation officer, working with all the liberation officers. That's something I tried to do this year, trying to provide as much support as possible to the liberation officers, so to help them ensure that inclusion is provided. One of the things I did this year was actually a non-alcoholic event during Freshers Week, and I tried to promote that. I'm trying to do that throughout all the events, so that all students, whether you drink or whether you don't drink, you feel included in the union, because the union is your union at the end of the day. So we make sure that all our events are catered to all students, not just one particular type of student.
Thank you very much, Sabira. Bash, you can, yeah.
This is okay as well? Okay, thank you. Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Yeah. Bradford University is very diverse. What are you going to do to ensure inclusion of all students?
Thank you very much. So I've been very fortunate to have been in the BME officer role this year, and that means obviously I've been able to actually go out there, put my name out there, and actually defend students, despite whoever they may be, in the face of any assaults by the university or in the face of any prejudice which may be against them. But obviously, because we have a diverse campus, I'm hoping we can reach through the union, through different media means, and also through personal engagement, creating a large movement, and hopefully getting people into the union and actually letting them know about how we can keep them safe, and also about what this role's about and why we are here for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions from the floor? I've got one more question. Yeah, go on.
Hi guys. So basically, this year, mental health has been put on the map, and a lot of people have been talking about it, as Sabira mentioned. What are the specific plans for next year to keep mental health on the agenda?
Bash?
I think one of the massive problems with mental health, unfortunately, at the moment, is the university isn't taking it seriously, and ultimately, it's all about money. We are paying £9,000 a year, and they don't care about our welfare at the end of it. So when we're trying to get an education, we come out of here coming off way worse than we came in, and this isn't good enough. We should have funding for the counselling services. It shouldn't be us asking for it. It should be common sense, because ultimately it's best for them and it's best for us as well. We need to make sure the university gives us funding, that we have different means for therapy, and also people are supporting whichever way they need, whether it's alternative therapies, whether it's in an office away from here. If they don't feel comfortable, come to Student Central. We've got to make sure that whatever students need is available for them. Thank you.
Time. Can I have my mic on all the time, please? Sabira, do you want to take that question?
Yes. So Hello? Okay. So one of the things I want to do is actually implement SFAU and media mental health training. So working with organisations outside of Bradford to be able to actually bring in the training within Bradford, because one of the main things is that students go to their social areas before anything else. So we need to make sure that execs are actually able to provide the support that is necessary. And then from there also continuing the things I'm doing at, for instance, the student support group that happens every Wednesday, bringing in the mindfulness sessions and the creative therapy, and making sure that personal academic
Sabira,
tutors
that's time.
actually are personal
Sabira,
academic
that's time.
tutors.
We've got one more question from the floor.
Hi guys. Hi guys. Okay, so throughout Hustings, it's been mentioned by various people that there isn't money that the university is willing to put up for various things and for the union in general. So when it comes to different issues, welfare issues, how would you get the funding if the university just says no, which it has said this year?
Bash, do you want to take that question?
Well, I know very well about this issue because I've only had 12.5% of the budget which Sabira had last year, unfortunately, for BME. But here's the issue. We've got to show the university how in demand it is. We've got to have surveys, we've got to show student support. But ultimately, this isn't anything against the ordinary. We're saying we need more support for mental health, we need more funding for counselling, whatever we need. We have surveys, we have petitions, we escalate action if we need, and whatever we do, we get it done in the end, whatever's best for the student. Thank you.
Bash, thank you. Sabira.
One of the things I'm doing at the moment is actually looking at the retention rates, which means the dropout rates of students. So what we need to do is actually bring forward the case, the fact that by students actually, by us not having enough support, they're actually losing money. And by doing that, we'll be able to show them that there's a necessity to actually putting money into mental health, because at the end of the day, they're gaining money as well. So, and also providing alternatives to therapies. For instance, the sessions that we're putting on, they're free. The mindfulness sessions, they're free. The creative art therapy sessions, they're free. The student support sessions are free. Those aspects that I'm trying to implement are free, but
Thank you,
also
Sabira.
understanding that students need
Thank
it.
you. Before we move on to the next question, I've got one pre-written question, and then we'll move on to the floor. What are you going to do with the students with mental health issues who aren't comfortable with regular housing? Sabira, you'll be taking that first.
Okay, so one of the things we're doing at the moment is working with a Fair Weather project, which actually is a house for students that suffer from mental health issues. And with that, that provides an actual social worker that is there for 24 hours, so around-the-clock social worker, so that students that may not feel comfortable being in regular housing actually have a house appropriate for them. This is also linked to Nightline. So this person will be here for 24 hours, but also provide a Nightline service for students as well. So that's what I'm planning in the moment. I'm planning to do next year for mental health housing.
Thank you. Bash, yeah.
Sabira's done incredible with the Fairview project, and I would never jeopardize that. I'd continue it. In addition, in other accommodations also, we've got to make sure that there's adequate support. If someone has to drop out of university because they can't stay because of mental health problems, they shouldn't have to pay the rest of the accommodation fees. It's just unfair, and this is a condition at the moment which we're in. At the same time, we've got to make sure that everyone feels supported wherever they are. Make sure they have direct links to First Response, for example, which is a mental health service for all ages, and make sure that everyone feels supported wherever they are, whether they want support in person, over the phone, online. We've got to make sure that there's always a point of contact for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Bash. Next question.
Yeah, my question is basically, what plans do you have to engage new students in the community and teach them about the Bradford area so that they'll become more engaged and want to do volunteer projects as well as get more involved with the community?
Bash, you'll be taking that first.
Could you just repeat the question, please? Sorry, I couldn't hear it so well.
So basically, what plans do you have to engage new students in the community and actually teach them about the Bradford area so that, you know, it could help change their perception and maybe get them more involved in the community?
Brilliant. Well, we have incredible local organisations such as Just West Yorkshire and other organisations which can offer so much experience to students and also give support to students. So we can obviously not just only offer work experience and volunteering hours, but also we can actually get them involved, whether it's going to schools and helping out with children, offering sports sessions. We've got so many opportunities in Bradford, and it's a great community which is heavily invested in the university. I mean, since the inception of the university, it's still known that the community actually saved the university when it was under threat before. So it's important that we do have community engagement, and with the community, we'll make sure students go out there and the public come in as well, and we have a very good relationship together. Thank you.
Thank you, Bash. Sabira.
So the plan is during Freshers Week, like we have all the different events going on, I'm planning on doing different volunteering opportunities every single day. So students can, so from a list of different things, so the students can actually get involved in whichever volunteering services they want to get involved in, they can, because it's a week-long event. And then obviously continue what we're doing at the moment with the weekly events that we're doing, and showcasing and kind of connecting them to their departments as well, so that they feel that they're it's more invested in actually being involved in volunteering because it's linked to their departments as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move on to any other question from the floor, we've got one on Twitter.
Don't forget you can share your questions on Twitter by using the hashtag UBU Elections. So the question from Twitter is, how would you help those who are racially discriminated by either a majority or a minority?
Say that again, please, sorry.
How would you help those who are either racially discriminated by either a majority or a minority? Sabira, that's you first, please.
As Bash said, I was also the BME officer before him as well. So I've been able to kind of be involved in certain areas as well. And what I plan on doing is obviously, it's about, what I did this year was actually help with the SF to provide hate crime training through the NUS. And that's something I want to implement again next year to ensure that execs, society members, sports members, media members all understand the concept of hate crime and feel comfortable around their execs to be able to actually, if anything does happen, actually implement it and give it to the right people within the university.
Thank you very much, Sabira. Before we move on to Bash, can I make a quick announcement around this region, around this area, whoever is sitting? Can you maintain a bit of silence? Because these candidates are here to represent your views. Well, it's not working. Thank you. Bash, you can tackle that question.
Well, liberation groups are very intersectional, and we've got to make sure that every single liberation group is actually involved and actually represented. So whether it's disability, whether it's LGBT, whether it's BME, we've got to make sure that it's available to everyone, not just society execs, not just tutors. And obviously, if you do read my manifesto, you'll see that execs are on the manifesto. You'll see that tutors need standardized training for any discrimination. We've got to make sure that everyone knows exactly what the appropriate responses are, exactly what they should be doing in different circumstances, and also how they can stop any discrimination. Also educate others. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions from the floor? We've got one. There.
You talk about racism and stuff, but neither of you talks about bullying. Does bullying not exist in the University of Bradford?
Sorry. Did you ask if bullying is existing in the university?
Yeah, 'cause it's not. It's on neither one of the agendas. No one spoke about bullying.
Okay.
So I just want to see your thoughts and feelings about any bullying that exists in the University of Bradford.
Thank you. Bash, would you want to take that question first?
I think this is something that me and Sabira are both very passionate about. If you look at our manifesto, I've said that we want standardized training for all tutors. So everyone has a point of contact, not just tutors, but also different staff, also different society execs. So whoever someone has a point of contact, they can go straight to them and report any incidents. And also the person who they're talking to knows appropriately how to deal with the circumstance. It's important that we don't have any discrimination whatsoever on campus. And hopefully we can all work together to make this campus a safe environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Bash. Do you want to go for it, Sabira?
So with bullying, I think that's my main area. As well as the welfare officer, I need to be the person that is there for students when they don't feel safe, so that they feel as though there's someone on campus that is there for them. Because sometimes people are getting bullied by their personal academic tutor, by their society execs. So sometimes it's always about... Hello? Okay. So that's why I need to be there to ensure that I'm visible on campus so people know that if anything does happen, they can come to me for it, because it's not always about going to certain areas, because that might be where the bullying is actually coming from. So that's why I make myself visible on campus, in school and management, to make sure that people actually know who I am,
Thank you,
so they can come to me.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the floor? I've got one pre-written question here. It's a bit of a long one, so listen to it a bit carefully. Students who have suspended their studies cannot access counseling services until they return. I will not be taking this question, I'm sorry actually, because it doesn't explain why the students are suspending, in which circumstances do they suspend their studies. So anyway.
Just take the question, it's a really important question.
No, yeah. We've got a question from the floor.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what sort of support could you give students who who either are struggling either in the sense that they have kids or they have other circumstances like that. What support could you give them so that they could still engage in their studies and actually have an equal opportunity like everybody else?
Thank you. Sabira, can you take it?
Okay, so this year I've been lucky enough to work with student dependence officer who's been amazing. Also working with areas such as social work and social well-being. One of the things that came up was the lack of childcare and the lack of the knowledge of the nurse. So one of the things I was able to provide this year for half term was actually free childcare on the first day and the last day of half term. And what I want to do is actually implement that throughout all half terms and also provide an actual provide a discount for students that are in the nursery, but not just a small discount, but quite a large discount for students
Thank you,
that
Sabira.
are within the nursery.
Thank you. Before Bash, you take the answer, can I ask everyone to have a bit of silence around this area? Can we have a bit of silence around this area, please? Oh, I will get the security to escort you guys out. And I'm not warning you, I'm warning you. Thank you. Bash, you can go for it.
Thank you. So it's incredible to get the nursery open for 2 days a week free in the half terms. Hope to continue this and hopefully get some more free days. But in addition, also support students who have other circumstances. So if you look at my manifesto, I've said we need to expand actual access to the financial hardship fund. Students have different circumstances, whether it's their working conditions, whether it's support from their parents, whether it's that they might be supporting themselves tuition fees. And we've got to make sure that everyone feels supported in whatever circumstances they may be in. And we've got to make sure that everyone feels that they've got actual adequate finances or any adequate support
Thank
which they
you.
need in order
Thank
to
you.
continue their studies to
Thank
best
you.
extent. Thank you.
We've got one pre-written question. Students who have suspended their studies due to mental health problems cannot access the counseling services until their return. What will you do to ensure these students with mental health problems are provided with the support that they need during their suspension, as this can be incredibly difficult for them during this time? Sabira, do you want to take it? Sorry, Bash, you go for it. You can, yeah.
Students suspending their studies is very unfortunate, and we've got to make sure that obviously before it gets to this point we can give appropriate support. So hopefully we can obviously give any support if any circumstances, any mental health help which they need. But obviously once their studies are suspended, if they're still in the area, if they're still in the accommodation, we've got to make sure they're supported somehow. So whether it's talking to accommodation services, making sure that they still have a point of contact in the union, make sure they're coming in for well-being, and hopefully trying to organise for drop-in sessions for them which they may still be able to attend even if they're not as registered as a student. Thank you.
And Sabira, please.
So obviously one of the main things is making sure that we highlight also the...
Can you just go to one of the wired mics, please?
Oh, can you not hear me?
Yeah. Okay, no, go to the wired mic. Thank you. Stuck it. Your answer starts now.
Hello? Okay. Yeah, so one of the things we need to do is to make sure that students are actually aware of the community mental health areas as well. Obviously, students that are suspended should be allowed to use to be able to use the facility available. But if not, there's other areas that there are. So you have to make yourself visible so that students can come and speak to you, so that you can let them know what other avenues they can take. And if this needs to be, we take it over to counselling, take it to the senior management group and ask them why is this not happening? Because
okay, that's your 30 seconds. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, do we have any other questions from the floor for the candidates for Community and Welfare Officer? One more question. Go one more.
Do we have any other questions from the floor?
Okay.
Seems like we'll be moving on to the summation speech, starting off with Sabira.
Okay. So I've been honoured enough to be your Community and Welfare Officer this year. I came in in a place when basically no one knew what the role even was. They didn't even care about welfare. And I was able to put it on the agenda and actually make it count and actually get the community involved in Bradford. Get get the community involved in the skills that we have within the Bradford Uni, and make RAG a whole different thing with bringing in charity hustings as well. So I've just been able to start my foundation. Let me continue it so that people know what this role actually is, because before it literally was nothing, and I've been able to make it into something. So let me continue that so that I can not only help the person that is coming next year, the year after me, sorry, but also make sure that we establish this role as a role that works and as a role that is efficient. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the summation speech there for Sabira Ismail, candidate for Community and Welfare Officer. The next candidate to speak is Mohammed Bashir Lunat, and your 1 minute closing speech for the role of Community and Welfare Officer starts now.
Take the other mic.
Thank you. I hope you've all read my manifesto, and you'll see that everything that I've done has been there intentionally because we want inclusivity, we want everyone to feel accepted. Whether it's Alternative Freshers Week, not just for people who have financial barriers, of people who have disabilities, we want British Sign Language interpreters there, we want everyone to feel welcome wherever they may be. Whether it's working with counselling, whether it's making sure that if people don't feel comfortable coming here for counselling, there's somewhere they can go, making sure there's support in every single area, and making sure there's opportunities for everyone, whether it's volunteering, making links with different organisations, creating discounts for students, and making sure this role is wholesome and applicable to every single student. Whether your lecture theatre is more comfortable, I believe that I'm the person who can take you forward. And if you believe in me, vote for me. And any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the closing speech there for candidate Mohammed Bashir Lunat, standing for Community and Welfare Officer. You can vote for those positions alongside all the others from March to the 8th to the 10th, with the results out on March the 11th. You can read all candidate manifestos and vote from the 8th at ubuonline.co.uk/elections. We'll now be moving on to the next role, and I will pass you on to Hasmin, who will be able to introduce that for you.
Thank you very much, guys. Good luck with the elections. Can we have a bit of silence in this area? Thank you very much. Can we have the next candidate, the non-sabbatical officer, student with dependence officer, Rayana Ahmed, on stage? Thank you. Rayana, you can start your opening speech now.
Right. Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Rayana Ahmed, the current Students with Dependence Officer. I'm also a first-year BA in Social Work student and student representative within my division. I've been working quite hard day and night on this role since winning the landslide victory in the by-elections in November time. I've really enjoyed working on this post. I've promoted my post and the Students' Union activities through social media platforms, and I've done that quite successfully. I volunteer outside of my role within the Students' Union on a regular basis so that my name and my face and my role is well known within the Students' Union and within the university. More and more service users are engaging with myself because I'm making the effort with them. On a regular basis, on a monthly basis, I'm carrying out a forum in which students can come forward to me, engage with me, talk with me in an informal manner, in which they mention, any views they've got about their learning experience, any issues they've got, any ideas they would like me to, carry out and create events with. Other than the forums, I've carried out a very successful Mad Hatter's Tea Party, which gave me that opportunity once again to engage with students. Students have put forward many ideas during that event. Other than that, I've done a lot of research into identifying who are the service users, who are the students that I'll be representing. Are they parents, are they carers, what are their needs? I've got a very good knowledge of various legislations relating to this post, such as the Equality Act, the Education Act. 20 seconds. I've also got a very good knowledge of Diversity, Anti-Discriminatory Act, Anti-Oppressive Practice. I am a very helpful and energetic individual who helps out a lot on a regular basis, and I'm hoping to do that in the future for at least the next academic year. I'm wanting to make a major difference in the services that are provided to
Thank you, Rayana. That's 2 minutes of your opening speech. We will be opening it up to the floor. Do we have any questions to the Students with Dependence Officer? In the meantime, you guys can also tweet all the questions via Twitter on hashtag UBU Elections, and the mic will be flowing around the floor if you want to put some questions.
Okay, so students with dependents obviously have a very busy schedule, and what are your plans to integrate them within like the normal student body, and just like get us to interact with them, just so we can like be helpful and stuff? Yeah.
Sorry, could you just repeat the question, please?
Okay, so students with dependents are very busy people, and they don't tend to interact with people like us, like the normal student body. Like, what are your plans to integrate
Right,
them?
can I just say I do as much as I can. I'm actively engaging myself with the service users and the general students. I spend a lot of time in Students' Union. I'm using my time really, really well, and I've, using social media as I think it's a very powerful tool to engage with service users and students in general. I think I'm doing, the right things to make sure that students, can approach me. I'm quite a people's person. I'm, spending a lot of time with students.
Thank you, Rihanna. That's 30 seconds. Do we have any other questions? Yes. You also can tweet all your questions via Twitter at hashtag UBU Elections. Thank
Hi,
you.
I just wanted to ask, what is like the biggest hurdle that students with dependents face, and how as a union could we help support them a bit more?
Right, the biggest issue is the childcare issue, which I know we are working on, but because it's a historical issue, it is going to take time, to resolve. I have been looking to sort of various options, various solutions, but I'm sure we'll work together in the next academic year and overcome them hurdles relating to childcare.
Thank you very much, Rihanna. Is there any other questions from the floor? Well then, we'll move on to the summation speech of our Students with Dependents Officer Rihanna Ahmed. Your time starts now.
Not only am I a service provider, but I am also a service user. I know the genuine issues that students like myself face. That's why I feel I am the ideal candidate. Not only have I got the knowledge, I've also got the skill, I've got the confidence to move things forward and build the ideal foundations on which upon an outstanding service can be provided to the service users. We need to be recognised and valued more, and I think I'm the ideal candidate, to move things forward. There's a lot of catching up to do with this role because it had been vacant for 2 years prior to myself winning the elections a few months ago. And I feel I've got the energy and the determination, like I say, to move things forward.
Thank you very much. That's Students with Dependents Officer Rihanna Ahmed. Thank you very much, and good luck with the elections coming up in the next few days. Moving on, we will be moving on to our PGR Officer Akinwale Akinyemi, who will be making his way to his stage now. Can we all give him a round of applause? Thank you.
I'll adjust it down, yeah.
While we're adjusting the mics, can we also remind all the viewers from home, you can tweet your questions via UBU Elections, hashtag UBU Elections. And this is our final day at Hustings Leadership Race, Bradford Students' Union. And you all can tweet your questions. Thank you. Akinwale, can I call you Akinwale? Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. Oh, is there any other names that you want me to call you with?
No, that's okay.
Okay. So your opening speech starts now.
Okay. Sorry, I have to sit down. I got a bit of back pain. I'm Akinwale Akinyemi. I'm the PGL faculty rep for engineering and informatics, and I'm going for the position of PGR officer. Within my period of a faculty rep, a couple of things we've done. First of all, we've been able to provide demarcation in the Alton building. We've been able to provide new computers for second year and third year students. We've been able to do social events also. Running for the PGR officer role, there's several things I would like to do. For example, the management research students don't have a specific location to do their work. And there's like a bit of difference in different faculties, because in engineering we got free printing, In health sciences, I think they are free printing, and in management, they don't have. So there's several things like to provide the basic resources for all research students to be able to do their work. I was able to start a society for the research students in engineering and informatics, where we would be able to do yearly conferences. This is something I'd like to put also across in all, for all research students in all faculties, because I think we should be able to do, conferences and workshops where we can invite people to speak from different industries, and we can get our research work out there. Also, what we can also do is we have the PGL lounge. We should be able to get that space so that all research students will be able to use the space, so that we can get interdisciplinary research work done. That's one of the biggest types of research now, where people go across faculties to do research. There are several national events also within the year, where we as research students could attend. So basically, it's to provide awareness for all research students and to provide basic
That's time,
amenities.
Akin. Thank you very much. We will be opening it up to the floor for questions. Do we have any questions to the PGR officer, Akin Wale? We've got one pre-written question. The PGR lounge is dedicated to PGR students. However, the lounge is not being well used. What are the plans do you have to enhance the area for the PGR students to use it more?
Within October, I should think, about October, November last year, we ran an event for all engineering and informatics research students. And from the results of the event, we could find out that lots of people are not really aware about the lounge. And reason being because there are not lots of activities within the lounge. So one of the things is actually to provide various activities in the lounge. First of all, what we can do is to run maybe on a 2 weeks basis or once a month, like a seminar where people can come and present their work. Like within engineering, I would like to present my work and all
That's
the departments
time.
can hear them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions from the floor? We've got one in the back.
Hi, considering the postgraduate lounge, I'm an MN student. If you don't know what an MN student is, it's a four-year course. So I'm technically postgraduate, but I'm technically undergraduate. I'm not allowed in the postgraduate, lounge. I don't know why. It's infeasible because I'm gonna graduate before MSc because I'm MN, but I'm still masters. So I don't like how there's beef. So what would you do to help future MN students?
Okay. Am I okay to take the question now?
Yeah, you can do.
Okay. The PGR Lounge is actually for research students, and I know what the MN is because I attend, some of the SSLCs, and I can tell you some of the questions you might be having regarding placements now. But regarding the lounge, it's actually for research students, and that's for people doing PhDs. And so doing masters, even the top masters are not allowed to use the lounge. You can use the laboratories in the Alton building, I should think it's on D206 or thereabout. And then you can use the laboratories also in Chesham. But the lounge
Thank
really
you,
is for
Aki.
PhD students.
That's time. Do we have any other questions from the floor to the PGR Students Officer Akin Wale? Well, we don't have any other questions, Akin. So we'll be moving on to your summation speech, and you can explain why the students should be voting for you. Starting off now.
What basically made me take this role is because we want to implement several changes. First of all, most students didn't know if they can go for conferences within their 4 years of research. And one of the things that we could clarify this year is that the school was going to sponsor one conference within your 4 years. So I can see that there's a bit of differences in different faculties. So one of the reasons is to bring the body of research students together, first of all. One, to be able to do interdisciplinary research, whereby people from School of Health can collaborate with people from engineering. Because one of the best PubMed publications now within medicine will be a collaboration with engineering students to implement the actual electronics used in medicine. So to actually show Bradford Research Group as something to be able to be shown nationally, whereby we can go for conferences, national events, and then we could.
Thank you, Akinwale. I'm sorry, I need to stop you. Thank you very much, Akinwale. That's our PGI Students Officer who is contesting in that role. You can read his manifesto on UBU Online, and I'll pass it over to Phil to make a quick announcement with regards to that.
Okay, yeah, you can read the manifestos for that role and everything else online at ubuonline.co.uk/elections. That was the PGR officer. You can vote for that role and all the others from 8th to 10th of March, with results out on the 11th of March. You're listening to Day 3 of Hustings in the Union Mall Student Central, also live on Ramair, on YouTube and on Periscope. We'll be moving on to the next role. I'll give Hasmin the honours to go through those details.
Thank you very much, Phil. We'll be moving on to our next non-sabbatical officer, that's International Students Officer Georgiana Bianca Elena. Let's all give a round of applause, all right. Hi, Bianca. Is that working?
Hey, yeah.
You can start your opening speech now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Georgiana Bianca Elena, and I'm a first business management year student. I'm planning to make Students' Union become more popular, where international students can share their customs and traditions with others and learn different things about new cultures. I will offer support to that students that that are struggling with their assignments or sorry. I can't. Or their course, and giving them an insight about the quality of education at this university. I will work hard to make students become interested and involved in different activities by promoting various societies and create a link between them. I will encourage students to take part in different events, especially where famous companies will come to the university and will recruit them. This will be a great opportunity for them to highlight their skills and sorry. and to put into practice their learning from this university. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's International Students Officer Bianca Elena. We will be opening up into the floor now. Do we have any questions to our International Students Officer?
I've got a question for you. What are you going to do to attract big, large multinational companies into Bradford and get them to show more of an interest in Bradford students?
I won't be taking that question. I'll have to turn that down, Jay, because that's not applicable on the International Students Officer. Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the floor?
Who's got the hand up? I have Paul.
You know that the number one purpose of the student union is to increase the engagement of all the students. Now, what are your plans to engage all the international students in the activities that are developed and organized within the students union?
So, this week, I'm planning to organize international gala event with students' talents, where students can enjoy and share their experience together and their talent. And cooking challenge, they will share their customs, traditions, and their traditional dishes as well. So they will be more engaged with student union. They will.
Thank you, Bianca. That's your time.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next question.
Hi, Bianca. How are you going to increase international students' engagement with sports societies and media areas?
Oh.
You can take it now.
So can you say it again, please?
All right. How are you going to increase international students' engagement with sports societies and media areas?
Well, I don't know. But that's why I'm here to learn from previous students, and I don't know yet, sorry.
Thank you, Bianca. Moving on to the next question.
Hello, Bianca. Basically, how are you planning on getting national students to mix with the international students so we can have a mixture of culture, so we can learn more about their culture and international students can learn more about British culture?
Sorry, can you say it again? Because I can't hear.
How do you plan on making British students mix with the international students?
So, I will develop events when they will be together. I will attract the students to be together with all of students from different countries, and they will be more engaged and more attractive to those events. And
thank you, Bianca.
Sorry, thank you.
Do we have any other questions from the floor? We've got one more. Can we have a bit of silence around this area, please? Thank you very much. Let's get to the question.
In our university, in fact, in Students' Union, are registered more than 16 international societies. 2 weeks ago, we had a forum with the executives of those societies, and they want to start something big. So they are now isolated, but they want to work together. They want to work together and to engage and to create massive engagement of all their members. So they have more than 500 members together right now, and they are increasing. What are your plans to support them and to encourage them to move this, to actually take this movement to the next level?
Oh. So, firstly, I will support them by making them to be, I don't know how. So there are over 1,000 students there. Thank you.
Thank you very
Sorry.
much, Bianca.
Oh.
That's time.
Sorry.
Moving on to our next question. Do we have any other questions to our International Students Officer? Moving to our summation speech. Bianca, do you want to give our summation speech? Your summation speech starting off now.
So every student has the ambition to progress, and I'll be here to support them and encourage them to achieve their goals and making the best time for them at the university. I believe in this university, and I think that it will give me a great opportunity to get experience and learn a lot of new things, and that's why I'm here, to work together with students, and we can do it together.
Thank you very much, Bianca. Let's all give it up for our International Students Officer. And I will pass it over to Phil.
So you've heard there so far, we've had the candidates for Community and Welfare Officer, Students with Dependents Officer, PGR Officer and International Students Officer. You can vote for your candidates next week in the elections from the 8th to the 10th of March, with results out on the 11th of March. You can do so via ubuonline.co.uk/elections, where you can also see all the manifestos for all the candidates for all the roles and listen back and watch back to all the hustings that we've had so far. Coming up, we have candidates for the NUS Delegate and Academic Affairs. We will, though, be taking a short break break now to get some drinks, food, refreshments, whatever you want to do. Then we will be back with NUS Delegate and Academic Affairs Officer here in Union Mall Student Central, on Ramair, on Periscope and on YouTube. Thank you.
Welcome back. This is Leadership Race UBU Elections 16-17. And we've got 2 more roles to get through to the day, and this will be our final hustings for the day. Moving on, can we get our NUS delegates? We'll be moving on to the roles. NUS delegates, can we get them on stage? Sabira Ismail, who will be represented by Samara, and Alim Bashir on stage. Can we give a round of applause to the candidates? Thank you. So, as Sabira has sent apologies, Samara, you will do the opening speech.
Now, yeah?
You'll be doing the opening speech, and then you will walk down from the stage. Alim will take the questions, and then you will get back to the stage on the summation.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Moving on, can we get the opening speech from Samara?
Hi,
Starting
okay.
now.
So obviously I'm talking on behalf of Sabira. She's saying, I want to be NUS delegate because I have had 3 years experience at the NUS but took a step back this year due to a failure in the NUS and how it helps out students. However, I want to be able to go to the NUS conference to hold officers to account. My vast experience and knowledge of this makes me the best candidate for this. So vote Sabira for NUS delegate.
Thank you very much. Alim, you start.
Yeah, so this year we've been going to various NUS conferences, from Leading Change to various trainings, and basically NUS have not been up to scratch this year. The officers haven't been supportive of particularly our Students' Union in Bradford. They had a conference in Bradford and they did not come to visit. One of our officers, Samaya, had to force the chief executive to come on campus and give us a tour and speak to us about the issues that we're facing. You know, I was, as Union Affairs Officer, I have pushed the NUS referendum to put students in the driving seat again to vote on whether NUS is applicable with our union. Do they represent our views? Are they important for us as a union? And I think I'll be very good for this role as going forward, as voicing your opinions and your concerns, as I've put you this past year in the driving seat in various consultations, through general meeting, through council. I'm running council reforms, and for this I've consulted with a lot of students. I've got a lot of student views, and I think for that reason I will be able to voice your concerns as a student body at the national conference at NUS. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions to the candidate? Do we have any other questions from the floor for the NUS delegates?
You feel that the amount we pay to subscribe to the NUS is justified, and if so, why?
I don't think it's justifiable to pay £30,000 to an organisation that does not provide us with adequate training, nor do they provide us with adequate resources or support. They visit us on a quarterly basis. That too is only for a few hours, and I don't think it's acceptable for us as a students' union to be paying basically 2 members of staff's wages to be inscribed with the NUS, and they don't really give us value for money.
Thank you, Alim. Do we have any other questions from the floor? We've got one from behind.
If you don't really agree with what the NUS are doing, then why are you running to be the NUS delegate? What do you plan to achieve by going to the conference?
So by going to national conference, rather than being a yes man and saying yes to everything that they have to say and saying yes to whatever they want, we as a union will be able to voice the concerns of our students, the frustrations of our students, and voice them to make change. So if our students still want to stay into NUS, which we'll find out at the NUS referendum, then they have heard our views and they can make necessary changes. We don't want a yes man going.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next question.
Hi. Okay, so you just said you didn't agree with them.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned the NUS referendum. However, you guys are also looking into using stuff like the NUS cloud for elections.
Yeah.
Isn't this a bit contradictory to what you guys are saying?
No, there'll be a contract which is separate to the NUS referendum in regards to NUS cloud because that's a commercial service.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the floor? Moving on to one more question. At the same time, you guys, viewers from the home, you can tweet all your questions via Twitter at #UBU Elections, and this is the final day of hustings of Leadership Race 16-17.
Hello, Alim. Can you tell us what are the pros and cons of staying in the NUS?
I will be turning down that question because it's not appropriate at this time being. Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the floor? Moving on to the summation speeches from the candidates, can we have the representative of Sabira Ismail and Alim Bashir for the summation speech? Can we start off with Alim?
Yeah, so basically you've heard what I've got to say, so vote for Alim. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alim. Can we move to Samara, please?
I've got the experience, the knowledge to fight to ensure your voices are heard on an NUS level. Vote Sabira #1 for NUS delegate. Thanks.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Moving on to our full-time role, next one. Thank you very much. Our next full-time role, which is going to be Academic Affairs Officer. Can we get all the candidates on the stage now? Ali Khan Qassam, Imam Muhammad Alim Bashir, Ikra Mariam Hussain. There is one more candidate, Tasaddaq Razvi, who has sent us apologies. So we will have 3 candidates today in the hustings. If you've got any questions, you can ask them. Thank you. Yeah. Can we have a bit of silence around this area because it's disrupting the live stream? Thank you. Can we start off our opening speech from Ikra Mariam Hussain as a star? And your 2 minutes starts now.
Hi, my name's Ikra. I'm a final year human resource management student. If you vote for me, you vote for passion, dedication and commitment. For the past 3 years, I've been your voice as a student rep and a faculty rep, so I know exactly what issues have come up in all learning and teaching committees and SSLCs. I know exactly how to solve them. I've built bridges with 2 campuses, the main campus and management campus, from assuring assignment feedback is detailed to ensuring 2 buses run between the Faculty of Management and main campus. To me, this role is not just about a job that I want to get, but for me, it's about the student experience that really matters, and it's your voice that really needs to be heard. So what do I want to do? I want to ensure that we receive the quality of teaching we pay for. We pay £9,000 for UK students and 12 to 16,000 for international, which is the maximum tuition fee. So we should receive an excellent level of education as a result and leave our degrees achieving our maximum potential. Secondly, I wish to offer a monthly open door facility for you to voice your concerns about lecturers and tutors and to ensure your issues are resolved in a respectable, safe and timely manner. If my door is open, I have time for you. If not, email me and I will make time for you. Everyone in this room hopefully knows what the student charter is, but do the students in the atrium, student central or the compute rooms? My aim is to ensure that the student charter is respected and adhered to by all academic staff. It's not just a fluffy piece of paper, it needs to be adhered to, and it's up to us as the SU to make sure we are getting the message out to students. Vote for Ikra as your academic affairs officer. Your vote is your voice.
Thank you very much. We will be moving on to next opening speech from Alim Bashir.
Yeah, so my name is Alim Bashir. I've graduated in economics. The past year I've been a sabbatical officer, I've sat on Senate, I've sat on learning and teaching, I've sat on academic partnerships. I've made a change in academia and issues that have been related to your cohort. I've supported the current academic affairs officer. What I've done in particular is that I've advised the university senior management, and I've held a very good relationship with the current senior management to put academic issues towards them when needed to be. We have advised on various issues, including how long the library should be open, including things like the nourishment, the vending machines that were put in. I have a good working relationship with the senior management. I can voice your concerns to them. When there were academic issues with regards to various centres, I brought the deans and lecturers down to the student central so that they could consult with you. Whatever concerns that you've had, I've been able to deal with them with my role. I've pushed to make sure the student voice at the heart of every decision. I've pushed to make sure that the students' views are represented at the highest boards and committees of the university. So make sure you vote for Aleem Bashir, vote for me, and vote for your confidence. Vote for someone who will take your views from grassroots levels all the way up to the Vice Chancellor and challenge them when needs be. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will be moving on to the next candidate, Ali Khan Qassam, but before that, can we have a bit of silence? Just a quick announcement before Ali Khan, you start your speech. The event is being live streamed, so if you're having a chit chat, you can go out from this area and you can have your chat and then come back if you really feel something passionate about the Student Union. Thank you. Moving on, Ali Khan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ali Khan Qassam. I started off as a student rep in my second year. I then ran to be a faculty rep. I have been a faculty rep for 3 years now. I have worked with 3 different academic affairs officers. Hasman, who brought us the 24/7 library for 360 days of the year, with Bushra under Patrick. I have sat on University Senate, not just twice with Aleem, but for 3 years running. I've attended 10 Senates. I've met with the Vice Chancellor. I've met with deans across the institution. I've met with associate deans. I've sat on learning and teaching committee. I've listened to students, and I've done a lot more than just listen to students. I've done action. I've helped students within my cohort. I have helped students within my faculty. I have helped students within the institution. I have worked for student experience and success over summer twice now, trawling through each and every comment of the NSS, of the BSS, of the PRES, of the PTES, of the comments that you sitting here today have made to enhance the student experience, because that is what you want, that is what I want. So therefore, if you want change, vote me number 1 as your academic affairs officer.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ali Khan. Off the record, thank you very much for acknowledging the fact that the library 24/7 was open because of the Student Union efforts. Thank you. That was the first student coming in. Thank you very much. Moving on. Do we have any other questions? We will be opening it up to the floor now. Do we have questions from the floor to the candidates running for academic affairs? One we've got from behind.
Can you all three, wow, okay. English. Can all of you please tell us more about your experience specifically for the academic affairs that you've done in the past? Because most of your speeches were about other things, so I just want to know specifically what experience do you have in academic affairs?
Thank you very much. We'll start off with Ali Khan.
Okay, so academic affairs, you sort of head up the student rep system, work very closely with Dan, who's our student rep coordinator. So I've been a student representative twice, and I'm still a student representative for my cohort. I've been a faculty rep 3 times. I'm one of the university's longest serving faculty reps. I've been involved with the QAA and Student Advisory Board, so that's looking at higher education, which is really relevant to this role. And as academic affairs officer, I'll be lobbying the university on issues relating to higher education that affect students. So you've got things like the inclusion of the TEF, which is coming up.
Thank you very much, Ali Khan.
And I want to change
Thank
that.
you. Moving on to Aleem.
Right, so basically, I've worked... Right, so basically this year I worked very closely with a number of student reps. I helped out with the international barometer to make sure that we had the record amount of people filling in the survey this year. I worked with various student reps for the BSS, the NSS, the pre-test, the various surveys that we had to get your views into the Students' Union so we can challenge the SMT. Although I've only sat on a few committees, I've been voicing your committees rather than sitting there silent. I've pushed your views from...
Thank you, Aleem. Thank you. Can we get Ikra to answer that question?
Well, I've been here for 3 years, and within 3 years from day one, I've worked as a student representative with Dan and his team. For the past 2 years, I've worked as a faculty representative. I've ensured 2 buses run between the management and main campus, which was a main issue with academics affected them. I've helped with students with any issues they've had in regards to exams and made sure that I clear them issues with them.
Thank you very much. Moving on to our next question from the floor.
If somebody is not... Take your time, Dex. Take your time. Yes, thank you. If somebody is not... If somebody is not following the LSPs of disabled students, what would you do about it?
Thank you. Can Ikra start that question?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
The question was, if someone is not following LSPs, what would you do? If students are not met with their LSPs?
LSPs, okay, then I'd sit with the...
Sorry, I'll give you a small clarification about LSP. LSP is Learner Support Profiles. That's for our live streaming and for the students who do not know what abbreviation is that. Ikra, you can.
Okay, so I'd work with the student and their personal tutor on a one-to-one basis and ensure that the lecturers and the academic staff know exactly what the student's LSP is, and I'll work with the student and their lecturers to ensure that they can help and support the student to the best of their ability.
Thank you. Ali Khan?
We've actually had this issue within pharmacy ourselves. So loads of students didn't have their LSP completed, and what we did as a team of reps, we sat down with the program team, we got them down with the students, and anyone who had an LSP was kept behind, and they worked with the disability service as well to get their LSP filled out, and looked at needs, what they want for their exams. So obviously in pharmacy we have some practical exams, everything's not just written, and once that was worked on, we revisited their LSPs a few weeks later just to ensure there was no discrepancies and the needs were met.
Thank you. Ali?
Yes, so disability issues are one of the core things that's on my mind this year. One of the things that I did this year was I worked very closely with the Academic Affairs Office to make sure that the extenuating circumstance was 100% suitable for each and every single one of our students. That even students that were not able to read because of a shortage of eyesight, they could get a reading figure. So in terms of LSPs, we'll look at the good practice between the certain faculties. One of the things I want to do is conduct an internal audit within different faculties. So all the good practices that we have in certain faculties can be mirrored in the other faculties.
Thank
so
you
in
very
regards
much,
to LSPC, it would be the same thing.
Can we move on to our next question from the floor?
Hello. Does any of you have plans for implementing lecture capture?
Thank you very much. Can we start it off with Ali Khan?
If you read my manifesto, there's 2 points. So one of the points was increasing technology on campus and lobbying the university for that. The second point was to continue what the work Hasman's done, the incumbent academic affairs officer. Hasman's worked very hard this year on lecture capture. When he leaves, it'll be a case of seeing it through, reviewing the success of the trial, and then looking at whether we want to implement it and see what we can do with it.
Thank you very much, Ali Khan. Aleem?
Yeah, so this was something which I was really passionate about even last year, and I put it down last year as one of my manifesto points. So I was always bugging Hasman this year to see, what progress he had made with the lecture capture. So we are going towards a trial period now, and we will be looking to see how successful that trial period will be, as Ali Khan has said. But one thing I will do is push for the lecturers to get good feedback and consistent feedback from students and feed that back into the system so that we can make sure that if we have to spend a bit for our students, that we make sure that that £9,000 that you're paying is value for money.
Thank you, Aleem. Ikra, do you want to take that question?
In regards to this question, I've spoke to a couple of student representatives and faculty representatives regarding this issue, and we have seen that is a big issue and every student wants it, so that is something that I'm definitely willing to push and make sure it happens.
Thank you. I'm so tempted to answer all these questions, but I can't. Moving on to our next question.
So I'm just wanting to ask all of you, what are you going to do to make sure that large multinational firms take Bradford students and graduates more seriously, and how are you going to do that?
I'll let Ikra take that first.
Okay, so I'm going to work with the career service and I'm going to work with other lecturers, because a couple of lecturers I'm aware of do team up with Morrison's and other big large companies, and I'm going to make sure and ensure that students are put first, and Bradford students' CVs, and once they've graduated they are the first people that the careers people look at and are willing to put them forward.
Thank you very much. Ali Khan?
Okay, in certain courses we have really good employment prospects, particularly within the Yorkshire region as well. In terms of big companies, it'd be a case of working with the Union Affairs Officer, working with the Career Service to target those bigger companies. Yes, there was the Careers Fair. I'm a career ambassador. I was down helping those companies set up from like 9:30 for a good few hours and speaking to them. They love Bradford graduates. Why? Because we work hard, because we study hard, and it's a case of just promoting what we do well, and the Career Service are really eager to get involved and help us do that.
Aleem? Aleem?
Right, so I'm going to tell you what I did this year to make sure that our students were friendly towards our large multinationals. So this year I worked really hard to try and push for a student development officer, which didn't pass through, but I've been working very tirelessly with the head of careers, with the career service. I organised a careers week with them where we had CV consultation, we had mock interviews, we had a careers fair. I'll be working with the career service for the next careers fair to engage students into our students union, making the career service more student friendly so that our students can go to the career service and work with these large multinationals.
Thank you, Aleem. Thank you. Thank you. Before we move on to the next question from the floor, I'll be passing over to Phil for a question from Twitter.
Okay, question from Twitter. You can, of course, send those in using hashtag UBU Elections. Question from Twitter is, how will you work with the postgraduate officer to look after the needs of postgraduate students?
Can we get Aleem to start off?
Right, so basically what I've been doing this year is try to engage students with the PGR lounge. What I did this morning actually was help put the pool table into the postgraduate lounge to make sure that postgraduate students felt comfortable in their social space so that they wanted to engage. I'll be working with the next postgraduate officer to have these social events, such as the Mad Hatters, which Subira and myself organised the first night and recommended to the PGR officer to do this year at the PGR lounge. I'll be continuing to do socials like that at the PGR lounge, as well as that I'll be working closely with the mature students officer.
Thank you. Can we get Ikra to answer the next question?
Okay, so I'm going to work with the postgraduate officer and ensure that any motions that are passed in regards to academic affairs officer do go through the postgraduate officer. I'm going to liaise with them and work closely to ensure anything that is affected by postgraduates is dealt with in a respectable and timely manner.
Thank you. Ali Khan?
Okay, so to contextualise all this, the QAA, when they came a few years ago, raised the point that the provision for postgraduate students wasn't the best, the student experience wasn't the best. We have a really good postgraduate students officer currently, and we saw a candidate who's running to be next, the Hustings was today, and what he said is he wants to work by creating a postgraduate society, particularly for the faculty. I've worked heavily in societies this year on my role in the ESF, and I think that's a really good way of helping postgraduate students by getting them involved with faculties. NSS results have showed that students and programs with departmental societies have scored higher in
Seems like there's a lot of support around this area, which is great. Moving on to our next question from the floor.
It's all well and good listening to the students, you know, some people have been doing that for a whole 50 years, well done. But what are you going to do to put what the students are saying into action?
Can we get Ali Khan to answer that question first?
Actions speak a lot louder than words. As a rep, as a faculty rep, I've worked with people right across the institution to get things done. Listening to students is really, really important, but as academic affairs officer is literally, it's not the main part of the role. You have to action, you have to have a strategy, you have to go through and you have to get results to enhance the student experience, be it through surveys, be it through employment, be it in any way possible to shape the student experience of all you guys sitting here and everyone who will engage and vote.
Thank you,
That's what
Ali
I will
Khan.
do.
Thank you. Ikra?
I'm going to engage with the student rep system and ensure that every student, any issues that they have, they can regularly meet me. Like I said in my speech, I have an open door facility. They can come and raise their concerns, or even with a faculty representative or student representative, and ensure that everything they want is met and their demands are adhered to.
Thank you very much. Aleem.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. As you know, my motto was listening to students since 1966. That has been adopted by the union. You've seen my successes this year by listening to students and putting into action through my current role, where we had the first general meeting, over 363 students turned up, where we had...
Okay, so the question was to criticise Hasman. As a faculty rep, I'm going to criticise you, Hasman. I believe that communication as a faculty rep hasn't been there this year. I've worked under 3 different academic affairs officers. Unfortunately for me, there's been times where I don't know what you've been doing, and that's what I'll change. Nevertheless, you have achieved things. I mentioned the library at the start. You have worked tirelessly, and there's things you've set up which the next academic affairs officer, whether it be me or someone else, will see through.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other? We've got one more question from the floor.
Hi. Throughout your academic career at this university, what would you say your biggest problem has been? And if you are elected, how do you intend on overcoming this problem?
Can you have Ali Khan to answer that question first?
Okay, so very early on as a faculty rep and a student rep for pharmacy, a big problem we had was personal academic tutoring, feedback not being up to standard, not being up to scratch. We did a massive survey, the team of reps, there was 4 of us working together. We had like an 83% success rate, presented at SSLC, and we brought about change. New personal academic tutors were allocated, feedback improved dramatically, and students reported that that was one of our strengths as a rep team.
Thank you, Ali Khan. Can we have Aleem today?
Yeah, so I think one of the big issues that we've had this year is that the welfare of students have not been taken seriously. We have seen this from various issues, from our mental health awareness that we've been doing this year, that I've been working with the community and welfare of. I think awareness on our personal issues and our mental health issues, this is a big thing, especially when we look at the retention rates of this university. And I'll be working tirelessly with our personal academic tutors to make sure they've got the skills to direct students to the counselling service, to the various services that we have, so that students' welfare is at the number one of our priority.
Thank you. Can we have Ikra to take the question, please?
For me, it's going to be the quality of teaching. Time and again, lecturers have said, come to lectures, attend tutorials, you will get the maximum out of it. You might do all your work, you might attend tutorials, lectures, do outside reading, you still do not achieve the 80-90% that you would want. You do not achieve a first, you still achieve a 2-2. So that is going to be one of my aims for this year.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions from the floor? We got one. All the viewers from home, you can also tweet your questions via hashtag UBU Elections. This is the Leadership Race 16-17, final day of Hustings Academic Affairs Officer. Moving on to the next question.
How do you plan to increase the support for non-sabbatical officers?
Can we have Ali Khan to answer that?
So I presume you mean the part-time officers, yeah? Okay, so we have a number of part-time officers here, and there's a number of issues that they work towards. So the BME officer, there's a massive thing about the BME attainment gap. LGBT plus officer, there's a whole thing about LGBT plus in curriculum. So it's about raising awareness and really lobbying the institution to raise awareness of these issues and supporting them and putting on the events when they have like Black History Month, LGBT plus week, assisting them with delivering of course content.
Thank you, Ali Khan.
Helping our curriculum.
Thank you. Can you have Ikra to take the question?
Just the way I'm going to have an open door facility for any students, the same way I'm going to have regular meetings with the non-sabbatical officers and ensure that every student knows exactly what they want. If they've got any issues, they come to me and I will work towards them and work with them to resolve the issues.
Thank you very much. Aleem.
So basically what I did this year with non-sabbatical officers, I made them more visible. I got them business cards, I got them hoodies, I got them a space on our website. I'm going to continue to make sure that they're at the face of our union to say that they are on the same level as they are as our national executive, as our sabbatical officers. I'm going to make sure I work closely with them, build a good relationship with each and every single one of them, work with each individual on the specific issues that they have. So the BME officer, I'll work with the BME attainment gap, the PGR officer engaging PGR students with the union, with the mature students, with the forums, and all the various other ways.
Thank you,
Get engaged
Aleem. Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the floor? We've got one question from one of our predecessors. They want to know, what new things are you going to be introducing to this role or bringing into this role? Starting off with Ali Khan.
Okay, so I said in my manifesto I want to overhaul the rep system. I want to create something that houses our reps. You've got the AU, you've got the SF. We need something that houses our reps, gives them an identity within the students' union. So if you're a rep, you can say you're a rep. You can say it with pride. You can say it as if you belong, as if you're part of Team Bradford, because you absolutely are. You're the ones on the ground going to SSLCs, making a difference for not just yourself, not just your friends on your course, but for large numbers of students across the institution. And that's what I will do if I was to be elected.
Thank you. Ikra.
It's fair and well saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. There's no point making promises you cannot keep. I am going to make promises and I'm going to ensure I stick to my promises and keep my promises.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Aleem.
So what I'm going to do, like I said in my manifesto, is I'm going to conduct an internal audit where we look at the good practices from each of our faculties, from each of our rep system, and we'll mirror these good practices across the different rep system. We're going to be able to feed them back. We're going to get minutes from our faculty rep council going to council, so that council as a body know what we are doing as faculty reps, as student reps. I'm going to attend as many SSLCs as I can. I'm going to be organized. I'm going to make sure our full rep meetings are well attended by all of our reps, by myself as academic affairs officer next year, and I'm going to make sure that we are visible on the website, we're visible to the students.
Thank you, Ali. Do we have any other questions from the floor? We've got one more.
So as Aleem said, Hasbin's done a great job all year. The question is, 1 year isn't enough to execute your plans. For example, he wanted to record lectures and stuff like that. So are you going to carry on with his plans, or are you going to scrap it and do new things?
Thank you. Ali Khan, can you take it?
We've already had a similar question. I answered it. I'll continue. It's on my manifesto to continue what has been done. I personally believe it takes 2 years for a sabbatical officer to implement plans and properly see it through. Unfortunately, Hasbin won't be with us next year, but I'm very confident in seeing through his plans and reporting feedback, so that whether I rerun, should I be elected, or whoever it is, this time next year, we'll continue that plan as well.
Thank you very much. Can you have Aleem?
So this year I've worked really closely with Hasbin, so I know all the good things that he's doing. I know into detail what he's doing. So what I'm going to do, all the great things that he's got planned, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do a lot more. Whenever students come up to us, whatever issues that they've got, I'm going to take them forward. I'm going to take them in the correct manner. I'm going to take them straight to senior management. I'm going to make sure change occurs, whether it's through vending machines, whether it's through more water fountains, which we had the SF motion come through SF. I'm going to make sure these things get done. Whatever the students want, I'm going to make sure that I'm their voice. They can rely on me. They can trust Aleem Bashir and make sure things get done.
Thank you, Aleem. Ikra.
Just away with Bushra and this 24-hour library, and Hasmin saw that through. The same way Hasmin has looked at lecture capture, so I'm going to see that through. If I implement a policy and I do not continue next year, I will ensure I work closely with the next academic affairs officer and ensure that they implement my policies further.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the floor? Thank you very much. We will be moving on to our summation speeches, starting off with Ikra.
Okay, firstly, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and supporting me. The fact that you are here today means that you wish to make a difference, and I hope this is something I can deliver. A vote for Ikra as your Academic Affairs Officer ensures your vote is your voice.
Thank you. Can we have Ali Khan?
Like Ikra said, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to all of us. Thank you for coming these past 3 days, listening to all the candidates speaking. I hope you've all read my manifesto. If not, it's behind us here. Please come and have a read and ask me questions. I'm quickly going to finish by going through the things I've done here. I've been a student rep for 2 years. I've been a faculty rep for 3 years. I've been a career ambassador, student ambassador, pharmacy ambassador. I've been a PAL leader. I've been an RPS student champion. I've been an international rep with the BPSA, a national rep with the BPSA. I'm on the exec of the largest departmental society on campus. I'm communications officer for the Societies Federation. I have worked with student experience and success. I was appointed to the QAEA Student Advisory Board this year. I worked on a national level as well, not just at Bradford. If you agree with what I say and you want to hear more, you want action to happen, not just listen, you want action, vote me number 1 as your Academic Affairs Officer.
Thank you very much, Ali Khan. Moving on to our next summation speech from Aleem.
I don't need to tell you what I've done because I've been in Bradford and you've seen what I've done. I've been listening to students. I've been putting their words into action. You've seen me as senior management. I haven't stayed quiet. I've challenged senior management. I've made sure senior management come down to the unions so they can have full on what your views are. You can challenge them directly. Put me as Academic Affairs Officer and this will continue. Number 1 for Academic Affairs is Aleem Bashir. I will put your views to senior management. I will make sure actions are louder than words. I will make sure they promise us and we get what we need. I've brought down lecturers, deans, senior management for you to grill, for you to question, for you to get answers. Let this continue. Next year, vote Aleem Bashir for Academic Affairs.
Thank you.
Okay, you've heard there all the opening speeches, closing speeches, questions and answers for candidates Ali Khan Kassam, Imam Mohammed Aleem Bashir and Ikra Miriam Hussain. You can vote for all those positions as you can all the others on the 8th to the 10th of March, and votes will be revealed, results on the 11th of March. You can find all the manifestos at ubuonline.co.uk/elections.
We've also got a little surprise for everyone around this area and the viewers from home. Twitter, Facebook, we are going to announce the official slates that we've received for the leadership race 16-17. Can we have a bit of silence in this area? Our slate number 1 is going to be Hamza Butt, Aleem Bashir and Faiz Ilyas. Our slate number 2 is going to be Ali Khan Kassam, Rob Hartley, Nati Ibanez. Slate 3, we're going to have Siji Akin, Afrodita Darmodi. Slate 4, Jonathan Batakolua, Fatuma Sangyang, Subira Ismail. Our slate 5, full and final slate, is going to be Mohammed Bashir, Tariq Hemmings, Rayana Ahmed, Amal Ismail, Areba Mahmoud, Anas Makda. That's our full and final slates for this leadership race 16-17, and we shall not be accepting any more slates, and these will all be updated on the UBU website. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend.